Here we are, we're at it again. Mercury 2005 Pro XS Optimax. Going to replace the thermostats. I'll put a list of parts down in the description. You want brand new thermostats. I got these from a dealer in Florida. They actually own mercurymarine.com. Good website to have. Doesn't necessarily mean it's coming straight from Mercury, but these guys had the parts that I needed. They are authentic Quicksilver parts, OEM if you will, and I was able to get the gaskets and the proper, they call it a gasket maker, but just using it as a silicone lubrication that is highly water resistant. So I just got water pump thermostat housing. Basically, I don't know if it's not grease, but it's more of a silicone based applicant for these gaskets. So let's take it to the shop. Well, before that, hang on. All right, so the thermostats in the manual are kind of throughout the power head. I'm not going to go to the table of contents, but they talk about thermostats in the power head itself. So as you look at the back of the motor, this being the port side, this being the starboard side, you have one at the top of each side. And I'll kind of go through as we get into the shop of what you need to do to get to the thermostat and then what to do when we reinstall them. It is a pretty easy process, but there are a couple things that you need to take note of. They talk about it in the power head section, but they also talk about it in the cooling section. But in the cooling part of the manual, there's not really any specific diagrams for the thermostat. What's funny is in the Mercury manual itself, like here's the poppet valve. They've got the poppet valve, big diagrams of it in the power head section, big diagrams of it in the maintenance section in section 1, and then another diagram of it here in the cooling section of the troubleshooting the water pressure. So this diagram itself for the poppet valve is in this manual I don't know how many times, and they don't have hardly anything for the thermostats. So I'm either not finding it, which could be the problem, but I've scoured it online and in the book. But anyway, we know what to do. We know these are the thermostat covers here, and this is the hose. Sorry, I don't have a really good pointer here. Sorry. Thermostat hose goes into the cover, which I have left on the boat. You'll see here in a second. And these guys just pop right in there. It's easy. Let's get to it. As I've mentioned before, guys, I am not a certified mechanic by any means. You're more than welcome to tell me what I'm doing wrong, especially if you are a mechanic. Let me know. So, on the right side, the starboard side of the motor, as you're looking from the back, there is a bleed valve right here, just like the tire. You have to press this and release the air pressure that is in here to get this fitting off, and I'll show you the fittings as we put them back on there. But that releases the pressure to get these fittings off. I actually need to put that back on there. I don't like leaving that open at all. But anyway, we'll cover that up. Thermostat on this side, thermostat on this side. We're about to lube up those gaskets, get those new thermostats in there. Just to show you what the old thermostats look like, They don't have any wood in them, or they don't have any of the debris that would probably make them stick open or not work properly, but they are old. There's, like I mentioned before, about 1,200 hours on this motor. So just it looking like that, I want to go ahead and replace them. These are the new ones straight out of the package. The rubber on these, I mean, everything just seems, I don't know, just way better. It feels better, looks better. Hopefully it works better. And I'm going to clean this up a little bit, but I'm going to show you. They're the same size on both sides. I just go in there. And port side goes in just like that. Easy peasy. All right, we're going to use this and lube these up real good. I'll go all the way around here, and then this is the reverse side, and then pop them on that gasket area. All right, I gotta clean these up a little bit, but I've got that lubed up in new gaskets. Now, time for the bolts with a little Loctite. The manual calls for some medium grade, basically the blue Loctite on the bolts. We're gonna get those lubed up and get them in there. Get those nice and snug. I'm not gonna get it real tight, and I'll look at the specifications. And in the manual for the torque on those, I don't have a special torque wrench, but we want to make sure that that one's a little bit weird to get to. We're gonna have to get a wrench on this one here with this in the way. And then over here on the other side, already got that out of the way. So, apologize, I don't have my tripod. And the lighting is horrible. But you guys get the point of what we're doing. And then we'll get these back in there. And I'll show you how to. These go in with their little bracket. Now this part can be a little bit tricky if you don't remember how it went on there. But I didn't take a picture of it when I took it off, and I kept trying to fit it in like that, but it just goes around here and fits in there. It looks, the main thing is you don't want this to come out, so it holds both of those lines in place. And then you just Allen screw those in. Pardon the rusty Allen wrench. Now, if you wanted to get room to these bolts and to pull this thermostat out, you can take this one loose off this rail, and you don't have to unscrew it all the way, but you can pull it off enough to get in there. But 2 Allens versus 2 big bolts, it don't really matter. But those are just snug. I don't have a torque wrench, so always take your cowling off and check, especially after you do maintenance like this, because you don't want to have any issues. Now this side's a little bit different. You've got that water hose valve that screws in there and tightens up to that, and then you have your valve coming off of your VST. So I want to make sure that's not all kinked up. It's not too bad, but I don't know why it's like that. But I'm going to get that cleaned up, pop it in there. Okay, we got the water hose clamped down. We've got the bracket for the fuel line is good to go. And we got it torqued down, so thermostats are in. We'll see what happens. I like to, on these, I really like to do the evaluation or the check on the water and then check your temperatures. These run at 130 degrees. So if this one's running at 110 and this one's running at 100, I think within 10 degrees is okay. If you're running 150 over here and 90 or 100 over here, you know you've got a problem on your port side. So you want these as close to 130 each as possible. And I'm not a mechanic. I don't know what the variance is, but you want them as close as possible to 130. So we've got these back in there. Now I'm just waiting on spark plugs and all the parts for the poppet valve, and we should be good to go. I'm gonna clean this bad boy up. Hey guys, just a quick disclaimer. I'm not a mechanic, but I just get a service manual. I'm just a regular dude doing this to get out on the water. This motor is almost 20 years old, so I'm not out anything. It's definitely not under warranty. If I do my own maintenance and mess something up, oh well. But I'm just saying that to just kind of tell you, hey, I'm just digging into this myself. I don't really have a lot to lose with this motor. So if I jack something up or mess something up, it's not that big of a deal. These are just small little parts. Anybody can do them. You can do it too. So anyway, I'm ready to get out on the water. Let's get this thing running.